Okay, well, hello and welcome to Cal Kappa's Bidders Conference for our 2023 annual conference. Theme of the conference this year is Bridging Action Together, and we're happy to have you here with us. My name is Lawrence Heiner. I'm the Director of Training and Technical Assistance for Cal Kappa. I'm also one of the folks that is responsible for helping to select speakers for our conference, and this Bidders Conference presentation hopefully will answer some questions about the kinds of speaker tracks that we're looking for and some of the layout of our conference. And we've got a couple of folks with us here today and look forward to some questions along the way. So if you do have questions, feel free to ask. If you have them, others may. And if not, then after this is over, you can always send me an email at lheiner@calkappa.org, and I'll have my contact info a little later in the presentation. So thanks for joining us, and let's get going. Okay. So this year, Cal Kappa's conference is November 6th through 9th in San Francisco. There is a lot more information and details about the location in the registration for the conference, but know that we will be in San Francisco from November 6th through November 9th. November 6th is slated for pre-conference sessions, and that's also when we'll be having our network-wide meeting with our state office in the afternoon. So not all day, but plenty of opportunities for people to learn. We just have some focused pre-conference activities that we'd like to explore. In November 7th and 8th, we've got our regular conference sessions, as what you would normally think of in our network. The time frame for those sessions varies just a little. Our morning sessions are going to be 75 minutes, and our afternoon sessions are 50 minutes, 50. We'll look a little bit more into that depending on what your topic is. We may want to add or remove a little bit of time, or place your presentation in a particular time of day so that we can accommodate the time. And then November 9th, we have open for a final session that may be a panel. We're keeping the ideas open a little bit for our last day. And know that we also have at least one keynote speaker confirmed, and we're looking at maybe one or two others as the next several weeks move on. Okay, so that's our time frame. There's an active link that when I hand out this presentation will go to our landing page for speakers, vendors, and sponsors. There are active applications on those pages. So what I'm going to describe to you today is essentially how to fill out the application, what kind of information it is that we're looking for on that application. And then, as I mentioned, if you come across a stumbling block, by all means, let us know, and we're here to happily help you out in filling out those speaker proposals. Okay. You'll also notice on the same page as the speaker application, there's also a sponsor vendor application. We do that to keep all of our stuff in one spot. Sometimes we work with sponsors and vendors. Wipfli knows this in the past to balance out what our sponsorships and speaker accommodations look like. Okay. All right. Our conference this year is broken, Our conference this year is broken into 3 different track levels. Last year, we attempted to do these as a role-based track level. We decided to scrap that based on feedback. And instead, we're going to do it in level of sort of a depth of interest in the topic. And you can think of it maybe as like college course levels. We have an A or a 100 level. That's our single A. We find a little baseball theme coming through here. So our single A level is very basic, right? So think of things that people would want to know that from the beginnings of the concept that you have to speak about. In this audience, we're looking at a lot of new staff and leadership, could be agency board members looking to understand some fundamental topics, expect that the folks coming into the room will have little to no understanding of what it is that you'll be talking about already, okay? The second level, the AAA level, or 200, is our kind of mid-range level. And here we're looking for just a deeper understanding of basic concepts, and how those concepts can be integrated into the work that people do at their agencies. This is also good for mid-career kind of community action staff and management. And then our third level is our major leagues level at 300. And attendees here are looking for advanced concepts. These are folks that understand community action already and are looking to enhance and grow in new areas or explore opportunities. So a lot of what we're looking at in here are strategic planners and senior directors and board chairs, folks that understand how community action operates and are looking to leverage new ideas. Okay, I'll pause here because this is a good time to answer any questions that you may have about how our levels are structured for the conference. Okay, well, seeing none, we'll move on.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I couldn't find my button.
Real good. I know. I get nervous when there's no questions. I did not explain that well.
Better understanding. Thanks.
That's right. I think we have 300 level on the call today, so we'll move on to the topics, which is next, and that may be of even more interest to you. So this year, we're looking into 8 different topic areas, and they're defined here on the slide. They're also defined on the site. But basically, we're looking for, first, a general category of homelessness. In California, and across the country, there's major challenges in homelessness. So we're looking at exploring both the challenge side and some of the solutions that are working in our communities. And that can be anywhere from understanding the basics of addressing homelessness in our communities. It can also include techniques and strategies that have worked, or advocacy efforts that have worked in other regions to address homelessness. Second area that we're looking at is staff development. This has been a big need for a lot of our agencies to develop staff as they go. This has a number of impacts for our agencies, including the ability to retain employees so that they can see that there is a career path ahead of them in community action. So we're looking for ways that we can develop staff in the most appropriate way, so that they are supported, providing excellent work, and have a great place to work. Third area is disaster preparedness and response. California has seen massive increase in the intensity of disasters that are affecting our communities. Most recently, we hear about the flooding, and then just prior to that, major fires. So what we're looking for now are ways of addressing our responses, what kinds of networks we establish, communication networks that we establish, and the kinds of relationships that we build within the community to be prepared. That can also entail what the agency does internally with capacity to help with disaster preparedness and response. All right. Fourth area is the community action movement. A lot of times folks understand the immediate job that they have, but may not understand that they are part of a much larger movement with a deep history. So in this category, we're really looking for an opportunity to explain how community action has affected communities in the past, and how we intend to do that in the future, and why it's so important to celebrate our victories within the community and engage our community stakeholders to move our movement forward. Fifth area is organizational standards and capacity. This is a lot more technical. So the CSBG, or Community Services Block Grant Organizational Standards, are not a maybe, they are a need to be followed by the agencies across the network. A nice thing about standards is that they don't change from community to community, but how they're implemented may. So what we'll be looking for in this section here are understanding what the standards are, and then the agency's capacity to meet them, and then how do agencies fill any gaps in meeting those organizational standards. On the higher level, it may be, how do you leverage those standards to become even greater at what it is that the agency does? The next level, or the next topic that we are going to explore in the conference is ROMA and performance management. So again, this is also a little bit on the technical side. ROMA is a great tool for planning and reporting. So in this section, we'll be exploring all levels of ROMA, or we'd like to, from the basics of it all the way up through how you leverage ROMA to provide the information to the community that's really important for folks to understand. And that's why we have the performance management. So the outcomes and outputs that we have from our agencies should be celebrated within the community, and this provides a vehicle to do that. Okay. Next is our diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. In this area, we've been putting a lot of attention over the past year or so in educating a lot of our network on techniques and strategies to demonstrate diversity, equity, and inclusion and justice. And within that, to help break some of the misunderstandings of what DEI is, and help our agencies pull together some strategies to move forward in their communities and within their own agencies. And then the last topic area is child welfare and early childhood education, which is a little bit more recently on our radar, although it's been a part of community action for a very long time. This is an area where our federal partners are more immediately applying some focus. So we'll be exploring how child welfare and early childhood education affect our communities and how they intersect with the other services that we offer. Okay, so at a high level, that's what we're looking for. And I like to keep it a little bit on the vague side so that we can dig deeper into specifics with your presentations. So we're really looking to flesh out these areas. And if you have a question about any of these topics, we can help guide what we mean by these categories, and maybe if something falls outside of that, okay? So long as the focus is on community action, we generally don't have a challenge. All right, so are there any questions right now about any of the 8 topic categories?
Not for me.
Okay, Kate, thanks. All right, and Sherry, you helped us pick them out. So thank you too. All right, very good. Okay, so to submit a proposal in one of those 8 topic areas at one of those 3 levels, or maybe if you consider that your topic may span topic areas or may span levels, okay, that's not always common, but it can happen. And we would want to know if the topic area is suitable for that. This is what we need. All right, this is what you'll see when you go to the proposal landing page. And you can see in blue there, I'll skip ahead. It's calcappa.org/BAT23 for building action together. So BAT23.
Are those links up? Because I don't think they're working.
Oh, well, we'll double check them. Let me make
Thank
sure
you.
that that's, yes,
At least
because they should be live.
From what you sent. Yeah, anyway, just, yeah, check it out.
Okay, yeah, at the very end of this, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and test it live and make sure that it's working at the end. And if it's not, then I'll fix it, but it should be that link. Yeah.
Okay.
So all we'll need are these bullets of information, but each of them are important. Your speaker contact info for obvious reasons, I hope, but we'll include not just whoever is speaking, but also an authorized signer if they're not the same person. Okay, that happens a lot in our world, and it's very understandable. Next, we'll select a presenter role. We have options for doing solo speaking with a co-presenter, or doing a panel discussion. So typical kind of conference options there. All right. Then for any speakers, we'll need a presenter bio. And if you have more than one speaker, we'll recommend filling out more than one form so that each speaker has their own designation, and we can highlight them appropriately in social media and in the program for the conference itself. For that reason, besides the bio, we'll also want a headshot. Pretty typical, I hope. Presentation title should be descriptive of the content. Sometimes I just get the topic category, so please be just a little bit more than the topic category is great. Otherwise, we may circle back with you and try to identify an appropriate title. And then the workshop background and rationale is essentially what's going to go into the program as your descriptor of your talk or your presentation. So we're looking here for something around, a paragraph or two, not a very long description, but enough to get the point across to a conference participant. Separate from that, we would like to see a learning outcome, or more than one outcome, but at least one learning outcome. What are people going to take away after attending your presentation? Next up on the other column there, if you've got any kind of AV requirements, just let us know. Your typical sort of projector, screen, and audio will be available. So, but what is now very helpful to know is if you're going to be using your own computer, that's great. I recommend it as a matter of fact, but we do want to make sure that it's got connectors for HDMI. Okay, so most of the projectors use HDMI. So as long as you've got an HDMI cable connection for your laptop, we'll be in good shape. Otherwise, connect with us, and we'll make sure that the presentation audio video setup is appropriate. Okay, I'm happy to do that. We did that a couple of times last year. Optionally, you can include some proposal documents, but a lot of times it takes some fine tuning, and the presentation itself won't be available. So that is understandable. We just want to be sure that the presentation that's delivered matches what is proposed here in this application. Okay. The proposals shall be submitted at the web address here at calcappa.org/bat23. And yes, we will be checking that to make sure that the link works as intended. And then we're looking for all the proposals to be in no later than June 16th. We need the ramp up time to November. I recognize that that's a long period, but we need that ramp up time to ensure that we have enough folks in your session to make your time valuable with our people. So please have those in by June 16th. We will be accepting them on a rolling basis. So as soon as we have something that fits into our categories, then we're going to lock them in and let you know. All right. And that's great. And if you have any questions about whether or not your topic area is still open, remember that there are 3 levels and there's lots of, there are 8 total topics. So if for some reason your level is taken or something like that, then we'll work with you to see if there's another opportunity to tune the presentation to the appropriate audience.